What's good, T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea, All Shade Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 4, Episode 4 review. I want to say thank you to everyone who checked out my interview with Love and Marriage DC star Ashley Silva. Love and Marriage DC will be airing on the OWN network May 14th. We should be expecting a trailer very soon. I'm super excited about this new spinoff of the Love and Marriage franchise. Also, this upcoming Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time, I will be interviewing Jamie and Irena Tyler. They are the other castmates on the show. The interview is so good. I can't wait for you to learn about them and their family. It was such a great interview. So make sure you guys put a pin in your calendar for this Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time for my interview with Irena and Jamie Tyler from the upcoming Love and Marriage DC. Okay, now let's get into tonight's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tonight's episode was a doozy. So it starts off with Tiffany going to Mel's house to sit down and just chit chat and talk. And she brings up Stormy coming for her at the Christmas pajama party. Mel apologizes to her, but reminds her that, you came in opinionated and hot too. And Tiffany agreed. Mel suggests that they, just sit down and talk. And she also reminds her that at the end of the day, you don't have to be friends with everybody. Y'all can just be cordial. And I was like, the fuck man. Like, just because we're on a show together do not mean that we have to be besties and we have to kick it. I don't have to talk to you, have to be around you, but I don't have to talk to you or try to press an issue of us being friends. Tiffany then brings up Martell's book signing and that the children weren't there, and that he said that, he had reached out to her, but that Mel didn't bring the kids. And Mel tells her that he, in fact, did not reach out to me until a day before the book signing, and he didn't even ask me. He basically told me what was going on. And, she was just basically saying that she's tired of, him thinking that he can do whatever to her, and she's just supposed to lay down and take it, but then be accommodating to him, and how she has to teach him how to treat her. And Tiffany was trying to, be like, well, y'all need to work on it, and maybe you should do this. And Mel was just like, no, girl. No, absolutely not. Not trying to hear what you're trying to say, because you're not in my shoes and you're not dealing with somebody like him. So then Tiffany was saying, that he was sad that they weren't there. And Mel was like, I wasn't even invited. Like, you can't be believing anything that this man say. I mean, how can you trust somebody that wear super medium clothes? He is literally walking around with his son's tighty whities on. Like, what is going on? So then Tiffany brings up her divorce and how her ex passed away, and how he loved her unconditionally and he was so supportive of her, but how he worked a lot. And I mean, she was saying like he worked from like 4 a.m. to 10 at night or something like that, and she's working all the time, but the money just wasn't coming in. Like, the resources just wasn't there, no matter how much they both was working. And she said that she wanted more financially, and that was the reason why she left her marriage. Now, that's a good conversation to have. Like, a man that loves you unconditionally, supports you in everything, but the money isn't there. So do you stay in the marriage and continue to just make ends meet and suffer, or do you do what she did and leave? She admits now that she was selfish and that she should have been a better wife. And she even goes as far as to call him her soulmate. And I was like, ooh, okie dokie. Now, I do believe you can have more than one soulmate, but the way that conversation played out, it made me feel like she regretted ever leaving him. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder how that made feel when he saw tonight's episode, because they see it when we see it. So that is a very important conversation that they're gonna have. I personally wouldn't leave a man that loved me the way that she's saying that he loved her, just because we're faced with hard times. Because just like you were able to leave him and go get to the bag, you could have figured out a way for y'all to sit down to figure out how y'all can get to the bag together, because rainy days don't last forever. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was something that she had to get through or go through to show her, like she said, how to be a good wife to Louis. So Tiffany starts, no, let me tell y'all, Mel gonna say, he loved you and you broke his heart. Mel wouldn't shit for that, because I'm like, girl, you don't gotta rub it in and throw salt on the wound. Mel, be quiet. So Tiffany crying and Mel gives her a hug and everything. And then we switch to Tisha. She goes to Kimmi's house and visits Kimmi, and she got on her mama's Wanda J. Blige boots, baby. I was like, you better channel your mama. So I didn't understand where them yellow ass thigh-high boots came from at all. Wrong choice of boots. Should have been black or brown, because that was just way loud. But anywho, so they sit down outside and talk, and Kimmi brings up, you know, what she said at the reunion about how if they weren't family, she wouldn't be friends with Tisha. She clarifies that under normal circumstances, if she was going back and forth with a person, that she would just be done. She wouldn't continue to try or to argue and all of that stuff. And she also goes on to say that she is not washing her hands of Tisha ever. Tisha understands, and they decide to start over. Now, we're going to see how long this truce lasts, because you know Tisha gonna get mad about something, child. So we gonna see. We are going to see how long this lasts. So then Kimmi brings up the Christmas pajama party, and she says, you know, that she was, you know, shocked because neither Tisha nor Destiny were there, but that Kiki, Tisha's cousin, was. We call her on this channel Ving Rhames. So Kimmi was like, you know, it was a lot of Tisha conversation that was an inappropriate conversation to have in front of people because you weren't there to defend yourself. And I agree, and then I disagree, because like I said on that episode, I felt like we're on a reality show. This is what we're getting paid to do, is to talk about each other. Let's just keep it 100. We got to state facts. So in order to clear her name, Mel asked the question of, had Tisha ever encountered rumors about her husband prior to them filming the show? Kiki decided to answer the question. Nobody put a gun to her head. She could have easily not answered, but she did. And she clarified that her cousin Tisha, in fact, had heard things about Marsau before they started filming. So on that token, I understand. Now, on the other side of the coin, in real life, if we weren't on a reality show, I wouldn't even be bringing your name up. I wouldn't even bring your name up at all. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want to say nothing about you. I don't even want to be messy and petty and try to hurt you and get in your business because you got in the mind, because it's all just very childish. So I would understand why Tisha would feel some type of way about her name being brought up. But then on the other token, you was talking about Mel to Destiny after the reunion. Everybody talks about everybody. Let's just keep it a book. Everybody talk about everybody. So should nobody be getting mad when this is what y'all getting paid the big bucks to do, which is talk about each other. But I also want to say that, Kimmi, you saying that the conversation was inappropriate and it was wrong, but why you ain't say that in the moment? Okay. Maybe it was edited out. But I feel like if you felt so hard about that, why didn't you say, why are y'all talking about her? She ain't even here to defend herself. That could have been something that was easily said right then and there, but you didn't say it. But okay. So Tisha was like, you know, that's why she probably invited Kiki so she could bash me. Mel is very aware of the relationship between Kiki and I. I thought we were in a good space. Now, remember on the video I showed you guys this week, I believe, Wanda in her Instagram live said that Tisha and Kiki hadn't had any problems in the 20-something years of them being family, and that they ain't never had no issues. Well, obviously, based off that statement, they have had issues in the past. And so, like I said to you guys, I felt like Kiki decided to come on to the show to be funny and to get back at her cousin. It was obvious that they have had some type of turmoil in the past, and she wanted to use this platform to go up against her cousin. Now, like I said also last week, that I felt like in real life terms, Mel would be wrong, but as far as on the reality show terms, I feel like Kiki was the one to be more at fault with, because you're my family. And this goes beyond a reality show with you and I. Because once this reality show is done and over, I ain't never got to see or talk to Mel again. But I have to be around you until one of us croak. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you would come on reality television and go against me, that's crazy to me. So Maurice visits Marsau at Blaque. And Maurice says that, Kimmi is a whole different person on vacation. That freak came out that we have heard about Kimmi. Kimmi likes to get on her freaky deaky type shit. And Marsau did not want to hear that. He's like, that's my sister-in-law. I don't want to know about her in that type of way. So, stops by Blaque to talk to Marsau. So they sit down, all three of them, and they sit down and talk. And says that Marsau came at them hard at the reunion. Marsau was like, hard but fair. Said you said some things that weren't true. Us being fake was one of them. Marsau says you haven't earned your right to have an opinion with me, same way as I haven't earned one of your marriage. Now, once again, we gonna go reality terms, real life terms. In real life terms, no, you shouldn't be talking about my marriage. You don't know me. You don't know our situation. You don't know what's true and what's fake. In reality show world, he has every right to talk about your relationship, because that's what you all are on this show to do, is to talk about love and marriage, love and happiness. So how is he wrong for discussing something that he was brought on this show to do? So you could be fake mad or real mad about it, but nigga, this is what we're here to do, is to talk about our love and our marriages. Just like I said something about your marriage, you said something about mine. You said stuff about your brothers. You done said stuff about Mel and Martell. You done said stuff about everybody. So these people on these shows want to pick and pull about what's right and what's wrong. Like, let's just stop it with the foolishness. But so he says you just contradicted yourself. You made comments about us in general that you had no clue about. Facts. Marsau says, you said I was in a bad marriage. You don't know enough about my marriage to speak on it. Well, that's not true. We've seen a lot on this television show to speak on your marriage. Things that are factual. How, once again, you negate everything your wife says. You speak down to her. You're a chauvinistic pig. You're a sexist. Like, there's so many things that we can talk about, or how you treat your wife. The only thing that can't nobody say about you that is absolute 100% factual is that you have in fact cheated on your wife. But everything else applies, sir. Everything else applies. And if I was, that's what I would have hit that nigga with. So Louis says, that's your opinion. I respect that. Marsau says you making it seem like it's an agree to disagree type thing. Who the hell do you think you are talking about my marriage? Now, had talked all that shit to Tiffany, got all riled up, got his blood pressure up, acting like he was about and rowdy when he saw Marsau. But he was, very even keeled. I don't know if he was trying to take the mature route, but who you talking to? Who the fuck are you talking to, Lucifer? Who in the hell are you talking to, looking like the Grinch that stole Christmas? You creepy face motherfucker. So, hey, gonna talk about some you based comments you made off of what you saw. I made comments based off what I saw. You don't know me as an individual. True. Marsau then in his confessional basically says that he's upset because that they said in their confessional that they had a bad marriage. No, they said you didn't have a great marriage. They didn't say you had a bad marriage. They said your marriage wasn't great. And he doesn't feel like Louis knows him well enough to say anything about his wife. So says, so I don't know you well enough. I've been here since 99. I knew you prior to that. Marsau was like, you knew of me. We never broke bread together. And he looking like, really, nigga, that's where we going with this? Okay. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's a situation where they do know each other. They know of each other, but, you know, they don't know each other to that extent. But I know your business, or at least some of it, and you know mine. I think that's what Louis was trying to get to. So then Maurice jumps in and plays devil advocate and says, you know, Louis, what if you walked in here and we would have a discussion about your wife? How would you feel? He was like, you know, I would feel like, you know, y'all don't know us well enough to talk about my wife. So then Marsau was like, you know, it's like being a straight A student. You haven't earned the right to teach nobody. And he says, but I maintain the grades. So Marsau started looking at him like, really, bitch? He was like, but no, you're still not qualified. And I'm like, I get so sick of this man and these stupid ass analogies that he put together on a whim. So then Louis just says to end the conversation that he understands that he has to earn the right to comment on their relationships. Lies you motherfucking tell. I wouldn't have said that at all. Lies, falsehoods, and fallacies. I won't say what the fuck I want to say, just like the rest of y'all. And if you got a motherfucking problem with it, oh the fuck well. Period. I didn't like the fact that hey back down about that, because everybody else get to say the shit they want to say, but since we're new on the show, we got to go through an initiation process. Boy, bye, get the fuck out of here. So then Maurice asks Marsau when is he gonna apologize for Louis for being offensive. Of course, Marsau didn't want to apologize at first. He eventually gives in and apologizes. I wouldn't have even accepted that apology because somebody had to prompt you to do it. So, nigga, fuck you. Maurice also says in his confessional that he feels like his brother has changed, that when they were younger, he had a really big heart, but over the years, his heart has hardened. He was like, I don't know if it's because of the money has changed him, but he says that he does notice a change in Marsau. And you could tell that Marsau wasn't this confident. This arrogance came about, you know, when he finally got him a better paying job, when he lost weight, and somebody must have told him he looked somewhat decent, and this nigga lost his fucking mind. So Martell visits his manager, Mel, not the Mel he was married to, but his friend Mel, at her office to discuss all his business endeavors. He got a cookbook coming out, some fitness regimes or whatever. Somebody gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy it, but somebody out there will buy it. You know, Mel not bringing the kids to the release, to the book signing was brought up. And, you know, he was talking about how, you know, it was sad and he wished that they would have been there. So then the girl Mel brings up wanting to have a release party for his wine that I said looks like the word incest. I really think he needs to change the title. And a lot of you agreed with me that it does look like it reads incest. I thought I wasn't losing my damn mind. So she wants to have the party in Atlanta. So this is when we're going to get the ATL Boys Trip Part 2. She asked him who does he want to invite, and he says Marsau and Maurice. And she was like, I don't know about Marsau. Like, are we gonna have any social media issues? And he was like, what, because of the picture? She was like, yeah. He was like, well, that was a funny thing. What was it funny? I don't understand the funny about none of that. And she even was like, you know, you might think it's funny, y'all might think it's funny, but for me it's a PR nightmare, and I don't have time to be going back and cleaning up shit when we trying to get you on the right track. And Martell sees the vision and he agrees. So this fool had the nerve to say in his confessional that Melody and social media has beat him up so bad that he lost sight of who he was. Child, the delusions of grandeur from this man. Nigga, you had lost yourself before you even stepped foot on reality television, when you was out here whoring around on your wife and treating her like she wasn't shit. Boy, you better get the fuck out of here. Don't try to blame the social media, YouTubers, bloggers, or your wife, ex-wife, on your shitty ass behavior. Kick rocks. So she asked, you know, who else he wants to have at the event, and he was like, beautiful women. Now, I have a video dropping on Ariane and Martell. I'm waiting on it to get monetized before I drop it. But we're going to talk about one of the beautiful women that was at his ATL Boys Party Part 2. And it is not Ariane. So be on the lookout for that. So then we see Stormy. She meets up with Tiffany to talk. They sit down, and Tiffany was like, did I say something to offend you? And Stormy says, that's why we're here. I wanted to apologize and get to know you outside of an ignorant comment you made. Baby, let me tell you something. First of all, right then and there, that conversation would have been over, because who in your peanut butter lip are you talking to? Stormy and that top lip look like it is glued to her nose. There is not an inch of space between her nostrils and her upper lip, and it really disturbs me that this woman has had to walk around all these years with this stank ass look on her face. And it's not attractive. It is not beseeching. It is just, no. Baby, she needs to take a look in the mirror and practice her facial expressions, or get her lip pulled down over her chin or something, because that face she be making is just, it is a turn off, and I don't like it, and I don't like her attitude. Like, I think I dislike her more than I did when Destiny joined the show, and y'all remember how Destiny was. We couldn't stand her. I still really don't care for her now, but I'm looking at her like, girl, who the fuck you think you talking to? You could tell Stormy was one of them girls growing up who was a bully, who probably fought a lot. She looked like a pit bull in a skirt. I don't like her attitude. Like, what has this girl did to you that is so bad that you talking to her any kind of way? I think that you talk to her like that because you know she not gonna say nothing back to you for real. You know you can punk her, and you need to grow the fuck up. You really honestly do. Girl, looking like she got a whole pork chop stuffed underneath that top lip. Girl, sit down somewhere. But Tiffany, you could tell on her face she was taken aback and low-key afraid. So she was like, in that moment, you were a little feisty. And Stormy Thomas, I'm not going to let you put that word on me. That's what you were acting. Feisty was a nice way of putting it, because frankly, you was acting like a bitch. So she told me, use another word, honey. And Tiffany was like, well, you were like, I forgot what she said, but she used another word. I'm like, girl. So Tiffany was basically like, I could have said anything in that moment. I think that you still would have felt some type of way. And Stormy was like, I really do apologize. And she tries to make it seem like they're on a good foot. And so Tiffany at this point is feeling somewhat comfortable around this chick. And Tiffany then goes on to say how she feels like she's very misunderstood, and they make it seem like, she is just talking and talking and talking and talking. Stormy sitting there with that goddamn stank ass look on her face, and she was like, girl, you know what? I zoned off about 5 sentences ago. Just being rude and just, like, I don't like that. That's just being nasty for no reason, and I don't like it at all. So Tiffany's like, is that shade? I'm like, yeah, girl, it's shade. So then Stormy discusses her IVF journey, and we learned that she had endometriosis and that it was really hard for her to get pregnant. So she had to go through IVF, and that was really hard on her. And then she almost passed away when she gave birth to her son. So she, at this point, does not want to have children again. And Tiffany tells her that her and are contemplating having a baby of their own, because she's only 34. And I'm like, excuse you? You're lying. You're lying to me that Tiffany is only 34. You're lying. That gotta be a lie. Gotta be a lie. And because if she took 34, how the fuck old is hey? Tiffany looks like she is at least 43. I look younger than Tiffany, and I'm older than her. Like, what? Maybe it's the way that she dressed, because she dressed like an old lady. Tiffany really needs somebody to style her, because she dresses like she gets her clothes from like Kohl's or Marshalls. She be picking out old lady sundresses and these thick ass statement necklaces. Like, she needs to let me style her. Tiffany, if you watch my reviews, girl, hit me up so I can style you, because you make yourself look way older than what the hell you are. 34, girl, you still young and out here thotting and potting, and you up here dressing like Betty White. Like, what the fuck is going on? I was stunned at that. So, Tiffany then goes on to say how she's trying to locate her biological father. So I wonder will we get to see more of that journey on the show. And then at the end of their little conversation, she was like, are we good? And Stormy says, we're getting to know each other for sure. And it's just like, she not asking, are y'all best friends? She just asks, are y'all good? Like, calm the fuck down. Like, you're doing too much. too much with that super glued upper lip of yours. Stop it. So then Tisha goes to Blaque, and I liked her top a lot. She looked, her outfit was cute. And she's there so she can meet up with her cousin Kiki so they can talk. Kiki walks in dressed like a reading rainbow. Take a look, it's in a book. It's reading rainbow, reading rainbow. And I'm like, girl, where is you going? Looking like you about to do a segment on Sesame Street. Girl, child, the fashions. So they sit down to talk. And Tisha brings up what, Kimmi told her what was said about her at the pajama party. Kiki was like, but we weren't talking about you in a degrading way or talking about you behind your back. Well, y'all were talking about her behind her back. So Tisha was like, I thought we were good. And Kiki was like, I did too, to that last situation where you and Marsau were talking to Mel and Martell about my personal business. And I was like, ooh, what's the tea, bitch? So Tisha plays dumb. Like, she was like, talking about what? And I'm like, now see, I don't like when people do this. I don't know if she was playing dumb because they were on camera and she was caught off guard, but obviously based off this conversation, you knew damn well what the hell she was talking about. So Kiki was like, that Christmas we spent with Mel and Martell, before we got there, y'all were laughing and discussing me. That's what got back to me. And I was like, ooh, you was laughing and talking about her to Mel and Martell. What? She said that Tisha and Marsau were laughing and discussing her personal business with Mel and Martell. And I was like, why would y'all be discussing this lady? Like, what was the point? So Tisha was like, so that's what you were told and you choosing to believe it? And Kiki was like, girl, you apologized to me for it. Like, how is you sitting up here trying to play dumb like you didn't do this and you didn't apologize? So that really made Tisha look bad in that moment, because why are you lying, acting like this just came out of nowhere and that everybody's lying on you when you've already admitted to this girl that, yes, in fact, I was talking about you and I apologize. So that made me look at Tisha sideways. So then Tisha, Kiki says, you apologized to me for it. Tisha says, and I told you that shit didn't happen. Well, what? Huh? So then Tisha in her confessional says, 4 years ago, Kiki was dealing with a major issue. I felt at the time it was only fair to let Mel and Martell know what was going on because they was inviting her to their home through me and Marsau. She felt like I shouldn't have told her business to someone she really didn't know, but I felt like I should make them aware of the situation. In a situation like that, I don't think that it's a situation where you yourself should then go and tell your family's business to somebody. I think the best way to handle that situation would have been to say to Kiki, hey, you going through this that could affect them. You should either stay at home or you let them know what's going on, because I don't want to be in the middle of no shit if some shit go down. That's how that whole situation should have went. And if she had not have told them before the fact, or when y'all got there and that they still had no clue, that's when you should have stepped in and said, hey, I just need to put all this out on the table because I don't want to be involved in no mess, and I don't want y'all to think I'm involving y'all in no mess. So I understood where Kiki was coming from, and it was a different way that could have been handled. But now on the flip side of that, when it comes to Kiki, girl, this was 4 years ago and you bringing this shit up. Girl, have several. You're using that as a reason to have a problem with your cousin on this show and to use this as ammunition to embarrass her. You and your colorful ass sweater and boots need to have several fucking seats looking like Puss in Boots. Like, cause that's silly. I don't like when people do that shit. We done talked about something, we done squashed it, and then you want to bring the shit up 5 minutes later and still try to use it against me. I had a friend that did some shit like that to me, and we have not been right since, because ain't nobody got time for that. Like, truly. So I understood both of the ladies' points on this subject, but I didn't like that Tisha tried to lie and play dumb like she didn't know what the girl was talking about. So Kiki was like, you admitted that you said it. Tisha says, how about we just cut ties then? And I'm like, okay, Tisha, like all of that wasn't necessary to say that they just cut ties. It's like Tisha, as soon as she gets called out about something, she doesn't want to face it. She wants to run from it and then just try to cut people off. Life don't work that way. So Kiki was like, you don't think that really hurt me? And yeah, it probably did hurt you, girl, but it was 4 years ago. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. Sit down, Kiki. So Tisha was like, you don't think that Melody could have lied about some things because she was mad at me and she wanted you to be mad at me too? We talked on the phone about this for like 3 or 4 hours. I told you everything I said. You said you forgave me and we're moving on. Well, damn it, we're 5 years down the road and you still bringing it up all over again. Either you gonna forgive me or you not. And with that being said, I understood where Tisha was coming from and I do agree with her. But at the same token, you're still lying. 1 minute you're admitting that you said it. Then the next minute you're trying to place the blame onto Mel and make Mel your scapegoat. Like, stop, Tisha, stop, Tisha, stop, Tisha, stop. So Kiki was like, that's some bullshit. Tisha then storms off. She goes outside. She's shaking up. She calls Kimmi to tell Kimmi what just happened and how she told Kiki they don't need to be around each other no more. And Kimmi was like, that's how y'all left things? Next thing you know, here come Reading Rainbow. She steps outside and sees Tisha. She started walking over to Tisha and she hears Tisha say to Kimmi, Kiki walking up right now, let me call you back. And so Kiki was like, so who you talking about me to now? And then we end off right there on a cliffhanger for next week's episode. Child, this was crazy. This episode was really good. Overall, I give tonight's episode an A. Remember that Carlos King said in his interview before the season started that episode 5, Mel would say something that is so epic at the last like 10 seconds of the show that we're all going to be quoting. So I can't wait to see what this magnificent quote is that she says at the end of episode 5 next week. Also, once again, make sure that you guys check out my interview that is up right now with Love and Marriage DC star Ashley Silva. And next Friday, make sure that you check out my interview with Jamie and Irena Tyler. You do not want to miss it. It will debut on the Color Me Pynk channel at 6 p.m. Central Time next Friday. Let's talk down below in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about tonight's episode. Who did you think was in the wrong or in the right? Who did you agree with, Marsau or Louis, with their situation? Are you on team Kiki or are you on team Tisha? Are you on team Tiffany or team Stormy? Let's talk. We got a lot to digest. Make sure you guys thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.